At this point, it is my great pleasure to introduce you to our 71st President of the Academy of Management, Deborah Shapiro, who will soon deliver our presidential address. I wanted to sort of start at the beginning with a little intellectual history. She has earned her PhD at Northwestern's Kellogg School of Business. She first moved on to the faculty at University of North Carolina, and currently she serves as a Clarice Smith Professor of Management at the University of Maryland. In addition to her usual professorial duties, she has also served in a variety of administrative roles, including Associate Dean and PhD Director. And there she has had an impact, much as she has had in the Academy. Here she's had long-standing service and done so in a variety of roles. She is a fellow of the Academy of Management, has been an associate editor of AMJ. She headed the Conflict Management Division after influentially leading its transition from an interest group to a division. She has served on the Board of Governors in 2 different capacities, first as a rep at large for 3 years, and currently as a member of the Executive Committee and the President of the Academy. 2 years ago, when she served as the program chair, she chose the theme, The Power of Words. At that time, she delivered her message in rhyme, but not me, not this time. Sorry to disappoint. Instead, I'm going to harness the power of words to describe Deborah with a series of P's. And the first 3 I would present you with are these. Deborah is a poet, a pianist, and the president. And it gives you a glimpse into the kind of person and scholar that she is. And I want to show how those roles permeate her identity in terms of her professionalism, her attention to process, and her passion. As a professional, her reputation as an academic is outstanding. She has contributed mightily to the literature as we know it and to how we understand conflict management, negotiation, and justice. And she has done so as a synthesizer, integrating across numerous different kinds of ideas, but she does that with great energy and upbeatness, if that might be a poetic word. A little license there, Deborah. Process. I have to tell you that to the board of the Academy of Management, she has really directed our attention to process in ways that have been incredibly beneficial. She structures our discussions with her template approach. She looks at how information is processed and communicated and how we make decisions, always alerting us to those unintended negative consequences. And she does this while also building community within the Academy. She is known for her Ottoman initiative, where from henceforth you will always see hassocks, chairs, and other ways that people can sit, talk, have conversations, and get together at the Academy. So she's not bureaucratic at all, although she has talent in that arena, but rather spunky and energetic and conversational. And she is also passionate and personable. She's so devoted to the Academy and its continued success, not only through the role she has taken, but the drive, ambition, and aspirations she brings to those kinds of things. She cares for her students. She has a great passion for teaching. And I think one thing that really summarizes this for Deborah is this. She is a twin, and her sister is here. Welcome. And twins, as you know, are called Gemini as a pair. And that pair extends to what are thought to be their personal characteristics and encompass 2 different sides of personality. She's expressive, quick-witted, sociable, communicative, but also thoughtful and serious. And so in Deborah, we find an amazing blend of characteristics that have benefited the Academy. We thank her for her leadership, but also please help me welcome our 71st President of the Academy of Management, Deborah Shapiro.
You're really too much.
Thank you. Go, girl.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Mary Ann. That was a really wonderful, spunky introduction. And since this summer marks my 30th year since earning my PhD, I now need glasses to read. I want to thank all members of the Academy who have generously engaged in a variety of ways to enable this annual meeting and many other career-aiding activities of the Academy to occur year-round. Thanks especially to Nancy Urbanowitz for being a caring, forward-thinking, adaptable, and inspiring executive director. Special thanks to my mom, my sisters, my brothers-in-law for being here, and our special family friend, Phyllis. I want to use this time to also give a special welcome to our Academy's newest affiliate, sparked by our 2013 Academy of Management Conference in Africa, the African Academy of Management. Please help me welcome them. I want to use this time, too, to express my heartfelt sorrow that some of our members who registered for this conference cannot be here due to travel bans on scholars and educators that have been imposed by their government. We have been in communication with these members to enable their voices to be here as best we can. And I thank program chairs for helping to enable this too. Today, I want to sensitize all of us to the fact that as management scholars, we express our voice in many ways. Having this variety and full reach of voice in our work is partly what makes our work meaningful. I have highlighted in yellow here the voice uses that are relatively new, such as creating videos to supplement scholarly publications, creating online courses, including massive open online courses or MOOCs, and being participative readers via new electronic enhancements to our journals. And I want to thank former Academy President Andy Vandeven and founding editor of Academy of Management Discoveries for leading the way towards electronic enhancements of all of our journals. Expressing ourselves in these ways amplify the reach of our voice, which you will see illustrated via hyperlinks in the text version of this address. Our many voices reflect 4 types of scholarship that Boyer said comprise engaged scholarship. These are the scholarship of discovery, integration, application, and teaching. When we are encouraged to use all of our scholarly voices, we experience a strong feeling of our work matters, and wow, how big our sound. This feeling is what I call full voice meaningfulness. This feeling is what makes us want to engage. To illustrate full voice meaningfulness via an analogy, imagine the following. A team has won prestigious international recognition for its work. Each team member's voice is full out. Each voice makes a positive difference, and if withheld, is missed. This team looks and sounds like this.
The Gas House Gang.
Let the drums roll out, let the trumpets call, while the people shout, strike to the martial swing, strike up the band. There is work to be done, to be done. There's a prize to be won, to be won. Come, you son of a gun, take your stand. For the nine yea bowl, come along, let's go. Hey, leader, strike up the band. Come on here, Alexander's ragtime band. Come on here, it's the best band in the land. Well, they can play a bugle call like you never heard before. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. That's just the bestest band. What am, my little honey lamb? Come on along, and let me take you by the hand to the man, who's the leader of the band. And if you wanna hear that Swanee River played in ragtime, wow, 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 wow. Come on here, Alexander's ragtime band. Let the drums roll out, let the trumpets call, while the people shout, strike up the band. Hear the cymbals ring, calling one and all, while the saxes swing, strike up the band. There is work to be done, to be done. There are songs to be sung, to be sung. You son of a gun, here's a plan, the plan for the nine-yea bowl. Get it on, let's go. Hey, leader, say leader, hey, leader, strike up the band, the band, the band.
Let's meet the members of the 1993 International Champion Quartet, the Gas House Gang. Rob Henry, the baritone, Dr. Jim Henry, the bass, Rich Knight, the melody part, or as they say in barbershop, the lead, and Kip Buckner, the tenor. Their blend is so strong that you cannot tell, even when standing in front of them, who is singing which part. That's good barbershop. Their impact performance, high impact performance, was possible because the following four conditions were true for their team. One, each unit member's voice is needed for impact individually and collectively to be as great as possible. Two, each unit member understands condition number one. Three, each unit member understands that his or her own voice makes a positive difference and will thus be missed if silent. Four, each unit member understands how impactful is defined and measured. The Barbershop Quartet understood how impactful was defined and measured due to a judging handbook that describes the criteria used to assess their performance. Shown here is a page from that handbook. The Gas House Gang won the International Gold Medal and thus earned a place on the list of top 10 quartets because they earned the highest cumulative score across these three metrics. No mystery. Full voice meaningfulness in the Academy. What does this look and sound like? Well, actually, you'll be pleasantly surprised. We have quite a few going for us on that dimension. First, we have a full voice vision. We inspire and enable a better world through our scholarship and teaching about management and organizations. Each part is important. No part is more important than another. We need all parts to inspire and enable a better world. Also, our Academy has a high volume of vision supporting activities, reflecting standard repertoire, such as the PDW's paper sessions and consortia at our annual meeting, and contemporary repertoire, more recently composed masterpieces. Our consortia has long focused on the needs of doctoral students in their dissertation phase, the needs of junior and mid-career faculty, and as of 2010, the needs of new doctoral students. More recently, thanks to the efforts by Bob Ford, Gary Latham, and other esteemed management scholars, we now have CAS, a community of Academy senior scholars seeking to strengthen community and knowledge regarding encore or post-retirement careers. CAS is a community that all of us, if blessed with good health, will eventually join. So I recommend that we support their activities by involving these exceedingly wise as well as vibrant scholars in our colloquia, doctoral student seminars, specialized conference planning, etc. Another relatively new addition to our repertoire is Late Night at Academy, started in 2013, hence now in season 3, with talk show host Dr. Q, Quinetta Roberson, to strengthen community and fun. I'm sorry, this was developed by the Diversity and Inclusion Committee, of which Dr. Q is a part, and she is the talk show host. And I bet Quinetta never thought she would be mentioned as a talk show host in an Academy presidential address. Recent programming additions also include our Teaching and Learning Conference, which we fondly call TLC, started in 2013 to help members build knowledge, skills, and networks associated with teaching and learning. Also, our Board Division and Interest Group Leader Exchange started in 2015 to strengthen dialogue and strategic planning between all of these groups. And now also our board's day-long meeting with Academy of Management Journal editors started this year to strengthen dialogue and strategic planning between these groups too. The conductor of most Academy of Management activities is you, our members. This illustrates an organization-wide developmental climate. That is, a climate where developers are everywhere, at all career phases, and with varying levels of rank and stature. This is made crystal clear when you see an interview conducted by Fred Morgeson involving esteemed management scholars Ben Schneider and Lyman Porter. This video supplements an article that these two men wrote for a new journal for which Fred is founder and editor, Annual Review of Organizational Psychology and Organizational Behavior. Fred asks these lifelong scholars about people and events that influenced their career. During a 4-minute segment of this video interview that will be accessible in the text version of this address, you will hear Ben and Port describe each other as not only dear friends, but also valued mentors. Sadly, Lyman Porter is among the management scholars we've lost recently, but fortunately, his legacy lives on through his many scholarly voices. In summary, our voice is our work, and our Academy does much to nurture this. But our Academy cannot control the lyrics that everyone sings. And sadly, some of the lyrics we hear harm our Academy's full voice meaningfulness. These lyrics are something like this: nothing but publications in A journals or in journals selected for shortlists, such as the Financial Times list, is important. And therefore, blank is not important. What goes in the blank? I'll tell you what goes in the blank. Any activity other than A, publishing. Such as writing a book, co-edited book, book chapter, encyclopedic entry, article for a newly established journal, a script to accompany a video, citing non-A publications, reviewing articles submitted to non-A journals, serving for non-A journals as a founder, an editorial board member, an associate editor or editor, serving as a leader in our academy or in our schools and universities, founding a new center or institute for research, teaching new courses, conducting studies that involve time-consuming data collection or analyses such as content coding, longitudinal or ethnographic research designs, and more. Whether you agree or not with this entire list, one thing is certain. The pressure to publish in only, keyword, only, A journals affects what scholars write, what scholars cite in their papers, what outlets scholars seek for their papers, what scholars teach, what service scholars provide, and what types of research studies scholars design. And as a result, the pressure to publish in A journals affects not only the lives of scholars seeking tenured faculty positions, but also the lives of management scholars at all career phases. And ultimately, too, since we're talking about management scholars' voices, the progression of management science. Muting some voices to favor others is not consistent with how intellectual contributions are assessed by business school accreditation reviews, and not consistent with Boyer's description of engaged scholarship. Consistent with this, former Academy President Dwayne Ireland said this. I'll let you read it. Similarly, but with greater trepidation, former Academy President Jim Walsh said the following. And I'll emphasize his last sentence. I fear for our future if that culture is left unchecked. That was 6 years ago. How are you feeling, Jim? Regarding what scholars cite or see, I am concerned that authors are being advised to not cite nor include in their literature searches any non-A journal publications. Visual or metaphoric images and even anecdotal patterns of evidence have led to paradigm-shifting scientific advances. One example is the work of Albert Einstein, which led him to say, I never made one of my discoveries through the process of rational thinking. Another example is the work of Orville and Wilbur Wright, who discovered how to enable humans to fly, and thereby enabled many of us to get to Anaheim far faster than we might have otherwise. The Wright brothers based their theorizing and much of their empirical record keeping on their personal observations of birds in flight, much to the scorn and ridicule of other physicists. Thank goodness these scientists, along with Albert Einstein and many others, did not restrict their sources of inspiration to only A journal publications. Indeed, closer to home, if the initial development of the scale for work meaningfulness by May, Gilson, and Harder in 2004 had gone uncited, hence unseen, due to its being published in a journal that is not on Consensus A journalists, then the subsequent work on work meaningfulness, such as that by Rich, Lapine, and Crawford that got published in 2009 in AMJ, which improved on that initial scale, would have been more difficult to do. My last remark ought to have caused a stir among those of you who are aware of the journal where the initial scale of work meaningfulness appeared, and who believe this to be an A journal. The fact that this is debatable points to another concern. The criteria leading to classifications of A versus non-A journals are unclear. This picture says it all. We have journals on the list with lower rankings and lower impact factors and journals off the list, and vice versa. This makes even more concerning that short journal lists guide the performance evaluations of faculty, departments, schools, and universities. To improve the situation, we must make our academy full voice meaningful. But how? I think by doing three things. First, let us remember the conductor is we. Second, let us, yes, us, set the measure and associated tempo. Third, let us change our lyrics. Regarding we as the conductor, it is we who make our academy as meaningful as it can be. Let us remember, too, that we are diverse. Our members are scholars, executives and managers, and increasingly also deans, provosts, and university presidents. This diversity can help us achieve our shared goal of being counted for all that we do to inspire and enable a better world through management, scholarship, and education. Regarding setting our measure and its associated tempo, we need a scholarly impact assessing handbook. To write this, we need to discuss and agree on our performance metrics. Such discussions would strengthen understanding about the criteria leading to lists of high performers. The contents of a scholarly assessing handbook can be informed by AACSB's magazine, BizEd, which reports educationally impactful innovations from business schools around the globe, examples of which will be in my address's text version, and can be informed also by psychometric theory. A psychometric approach to assessing scholarly impact is provided in this Academy of Management Learning and Education article. This article explains that the assessment of scholarly impact, as is the case for any assessment, will be more reliable and more valid when it consists of multiple indicators and multiple sources or observers. Who might be our multiple observers? Schools, universities, many stakeholders such as the academics, students, business community, deans, provosts, and university presidents. This audience is represented in our academy and outside of it. Such thinking leads to a pluralistic conceptualization of scholarly impact. But is this pluralistic approach really possible? Yes, it's already started. For example, former Academy President Ann Sui has started a movement of what's called responsible research, defined by those in her movement as the need for scholarship that impacts business and society. Anne has done this by assembling a global, multidisciplinary team of leading business school scholars supported by AACSB and European Foundation for Management Development, and a growing number of business school deans worldwide who share the goal of encouraging widespread, impactful scholarship. As another example, deans themselves, or via their faculty, have begun developing massive open online courses, or MOOCs, whose development itself involves many scholarly types. At EFPL in Lausanne, Switzerland, for example, Dean Chris Tucci, who is also an esteemed strategy scholar, has created a MOOC with strategy scholar Mark Gruber, helped by a team of communication specialists and entrepreneurs. Their MOOC regards launching new ventures. The number of students who signed up for it, 12,500. Among their students, members of a refugee camp in Ghana, who watched Chris and Mark's MOOC in groups, using electronic tablets that had been given to them. MOOCs can therefore reach anyone with an internet connection and have the ability to change the thinking of people in the general population, not only other professors or senior executives in companies. Talk about impact. Shouldn't our measure of scholarly impact include things like this? And if it did, might our lyrics begin to change too? And therefore, might we begin revisiting what activities are important? And relatedly, might our pools of candidates for leadership roles in our journals, in our academy, in our schools, in our universities likely broaden? And might our innovations as scholars, in the fullest of senses, be possibly more shared, more vibrant, and more knowledge advancing than ever? Regarding changing our lyrics, we must. Let us reverse the tide of scholarly voice restriction, a plea that many former Academy presidents have made starting in the 1990s, when the metronome counting of "Is it an A" journal publication began to drown out our music. As long as these are lyrics we sing or hear others singing without correction, our Academy is not full voice meaningful and will suffer the consequences of low meaningfulness. I want to thank you for giving me the honor of being our Academy's 71st president, and as a result, being able to use my voice to make a positive difference. In summary, let's lift our baton. Let's set our measure and tempo. Let's change our lyrics. Let's make our Academy full voice meaningful by harmonizing all 4 scholarly parts. Let's strike up the band. Thank you. I want to say a few words about Anita McGann. Accomplished scholar, accomplished educator, accomplished service provider, a very engaged and engaging scholar. But what I think I appreciate most about Anita, and I think something all who know her appreciate, is that despite her many and varied accomplishments, Anita is always Anita. And she makes everyone always feel appreciated and valued for being who they are too. Please help me welcome our 72nd president of our Academy of Management, Anita McGann.
What an amazing address. That was so inspiring.
Wait. There you go.
Thank you very much.
You'll be a great president.
Thank you so much. What an incredible speech. I feel like I have enormous shoes to fill, but luckily I have Mary Ann Glynn, Carol Kulik, and Jackie Cole Shapiro on my side. So thank you so much, Deborah. It is my first duty as your 72nd president to acknowledge the contribution of our outgoing executive committee members, and especially our outgoing past president. Paul S. Adler, the Academy's past president, is Harold Quinton Chair and Professor of Management and Organization at the Marshall School of Business at the University of Southern California. During his 8 years of service on the Academy's Board of Governors, Paul led us through a period of intensive experimentation, especially with specialized conferences. Through his presidential address, he asked us to own fully our identities as educators as well as researchers. As program chair, Paul encouraged us to reflect and act on capitalism in question. On the board, he has been tireless, optimistic, charming, cheerfully self-critical, wise, and above all, consensus-seeking and collaborative. As we celebrate the end of Paul's term of service on the board, our gratitude for his accomplishments and engagement is so great that it's difficult to find a way to express our thanks adequately. It is truly an honor to be your friend and colleague, Paul. Thank you so very much. Before I let you go to enjoy the program, I'm excited to make two announcements about our future meetings. First, please join us next year in Atlanta for our 77th annual meeting. Program Chair Carol Kulik has developed the theme At the Interfaces. Information about this fascinating idea is available both on the website and on the printed sheets that we've placed on your chairs. The second announcement is that I'm pleased to tell you that after Atlanta, our meeting will cycle over about the next 15 years, with one exception, between 5 cities. And these cities are Chicago, Boston, Philadelphia, Seattle, and Vancouver. This will allow us both to grow and deepen our experiences. And for more information on this change, as well as on our new specialized conferences, please check the website in the newsletter. And now, with thanks to all our program chairs, let me conclude this breakfast meeting by welcoming you to the 76th meeting of the Academy of Management on Making Organizations Meaningful. Thank you.